All right. Here we go. We want to make sure for Matt's sake we get through at least 2 of these, different ones. All right, what's the reaction showing solid magnesium hydroxide trying to dissolve in water? That's a Mrs. Matney term. You're not going to read it that way. Next time I'll give you the more appropriate verbiage. I'm just trying to get that constant repetition to help you see that all we're talking about here is magnesium hydroxide solid on the left, his ions on the right. Are you seeing that these are all exactly the same when it comes to this part? It's just maybe different coefficients because of different subscripts, but everything else is the same, yes. Did I leave it off again? Just making sure you are paying attention. Okay? All right, now we're not going to need an ice chart, so I'm not going to do an ice chart here. But I will tell you up front that if I did an ice chart up here, the KSP, because I have a 2-to-1 situation going on, the KSP would be equal to 4x cubed. Kind of good for you to know the 3 I've taught you today, x squared, 4x cubed, 27x to the 4th. Just good for you to know that those are the 3 possibilities. All right, but we're not going to use that today. The KSP expression is going to be this. KSP is equal to, and Michael, give me the KSP expression for this guy. Okay, there we go. Now, let's look at what problem 3 says, or not problem 3, 14 says for you, right? Okay, calculate the hydroxide that is in equilibrium with this molarity magnesium if the KSP is this. So I've given a KSP and I'm given a magnesium. Can I find hydroxide? Okay, no calculator. We're going to do a little bit of mental math here today. Okay, so this question is what Ms. Matney calls a plug and chug into the KSP expression. You're given the KSP and one ion. You can go find the other ion. These are easier generally because it's really just plugging and chugging into the KSP expression as long as you write the correct expression. So I'm going to write down 6.0 times 10 to the minus 12. I'm going to set that equal to 1.5 times 10 to the minus 2. And multiply that by OH minus unknown value squared. Okay? Going to divide both sides by 1.5 times 10 to the minus 2. So that goes away. All right, mental math. What is 6 divided by 1.5 or what's 60 divided by 15? 4. See, if I don't like 6.0 divided by 1.5 because I don't like decimals, what I do in my mind right away is I move my decimal for both and say 60 divided by 15. Aha, I can do that. 4. Okay? Times. Now, this part right here, whenever you have exponents, and one's on the top and one's on the bottom, you subtract the one on the bottom from the one on the top. So what is negative 12 minus a negative 2? A negative 10. And that equals OH minus squared. Now we're going to square root both sides. And if I square root both sides, I get rid of the square. And I've got to do this to the square root, but let's do it in pieces. What's the square root of 4? 2. And then the way the square root of 10 to the negative 10 works is, what's 10 to the negative 10 raised to the 1/2 power? And when you have an exponent raised to a power, you multiply those two numbers together. So what is negative 10 times 1/2? Negative 5. Voila! Success! I have found the concentration of hydroxide. No calculator needed. with this KSP problem. Now, I don't know that they would give you one quite this lengthy on the multiple choice, but I don't know that they wouldn't. And I do know that if they asked you the square root of 4 times 10 to the negative 10, they expect you to be able to do that without a calculator. So that's why I must teach you, break it up into the two pieces. Square root of 4 is this. Square root of 10 to the negative 10 is the same thing as 10 to the negative 10 times or raised to the 1/2 power. So negative 10 times a half is your negative 5. Voila, and it does have a capital M on it for molarity, yes? Okay? What I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to jump down, skip the next one, please, and jump down to the last 3 because it's exactly identical to what we just did. So 19, 20, and 21 is what I want you to jump down to and see if you can do it and understand it by yourself.